Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're diving into something super practical, calculating non-standard electrode potentials. You see, in textbook chemistry, everything is perfectly standardized, right? Concentrations are exactly 1 mole per decimeter cubed. But let's be real, the real world is rarely that standard. So what happens when conditions change? How do we calculate the electrical potential of a reaction then? Well, that is exactly what we're going to unpack today.
Let's kick things off with a core question to serve as our compass. How does concentration actually change a standard electrode potential? Think about it. If you dilute a solution, does the voltage shoot up, does it drop, or does it just stay exactly the same? Keep this question in the back of your mind as we set up the mathematical puzzle we're about to solve together. And spoiler alert, the answer isn't just a random guess. It's grounded in some seriously beautiful math.
To get to that answer, we're going to deconstruct a specific scenario straight from our source material. Worked example 8. It's the copper electrode problem. Here, we're tasked with calculating the value of an electrode potential at 298 Kelvin for a copper electrode. So we're talking solid copper and aqueous copper 2+ ions. Now, pay close attention to the parameters we're given here, because they basically form the foundation of our entire calculation. Let's isolate our known starting variables so we know exactly what we're working with. Our metal, copper. Our temperature, perfectly standard at 298 Kelvin. Our standard potential, which you'll see represented by that E with the little circle symbol, E standard, is firmly established at positive 0.34 volts. But here's the critical twist right at the bottom. Our concentration is 0.001 moles per decimeter cubed. That is highly diluted, compared to the standard 1 mole per decimeter cubed. And that dilution is the exact parameter of our challenge today. Section 1, decoding the relationship equation. Let's take a look at the mathematical engine that's going to bridge this gap for us. All right, here is that engine. This is our core relationship equation. Over on the left, we've got E, that's our target, the non-standard potential we're actually trying to find. To get there, we start with our standard potential, E standard, and we add a specific mathematical modifier. That modifier is 0.059 divided by Z, all multiplied by the base 10 logarithm of the concentration of the oxidized form of our metal. Now, I know it might look a bit intimidating at first glance, but I promise you, once we plug in our known values, this whole thing is going to beautifully unravel. Let's isolate the first variable we need to plug in, which is Z. What's really cool about this variable is just how simple it actually is. Z just represents the number of electrons transferred in our specific chemical half reaction. Since we're dealing with copper 2+ ions turning into solid copper, that requires exactly 2 electrons. So for this specific copper reaction, our Z value is just a neat, solid 2. Next up, we have the logarithmic part of the equation. We're taking the log base 10 of the concentration of our oxidized form. In this case, that's our aqueous copper ions. Remember that non-standard concentration we highlighted a minute ago? Well, here is where it goes into the machine. We're plugging in our highly dilute concentration of 0.001 moles per decimeter cubed. Moving on to section 2, calculating the final potential. Now it's time to put all these pieces together. Okay, we've got our standard voltage, our Z value of 2, and our concentration locked and loaded. Let's logically walk through this math step by step. Step 1, we just substitute our knowns. So E equals our standard potential of positive 0.34 plus 0.059 divided by 2 times the log base 10 of 0.001. Now step 2 is where the magic actually happens. We calculate that log term. The math gives us 0.059 divided by 2 multiplied by -3, and that resolves to -0.089. So our big scary equation simplifies down to just positive 0.34 minus 0.089. And step 3, we just combine those for our final answer. But wait, before we reveal that final number, the source text points out a crucial turning point in this calculation that I absolutely have to emphasize. Note how the log base 10 of the oxidized form completely changes the sign of the second term in the equation. Because our concentration was a decimal less than 1, its logarithm was a negative number, and that flipped the addition sign in our original equation straight into a subtraction sign. The positive mathematical term became negative, and that mathematically forces the overall value of the potential to drop. And that drop leads us directly to our final calculated value, positive 0.25 volts. We started out with a standard potential of 0.34 volts, but because our copper solution was highly diluted, the actual electrical potential is noticeably lower at 0.25 volts. It's a wonderfully satisfying resolution to the calculation we just worked through, don't you think?
Section 3, 3 rules of concentration. Let's zoom out for a second to the macro generalization.
So how does concentration dictate electrode potential across the board? Well, the source gives us 3 golden rules that brilliantly illustrate exactly how the math scales with concentration. Rule 1. If the concentration is exactly 1 mole per decimeter cubed, the log base 10 is 0. That wipes out the entire second half of the equation, meaning E simply equals E standard. Rule 2. If the concentration is less than 1, just like in our example, the log is negative. That means E will always be less positive than E standard. And finally, Rule 3. If the concentration is greater than 1, the log is positive. It adds to the base value, making E more positive than E standard.
Let's tie those abstract rules directly back to our concrete copper example. Standard copper, at a concentration of 1, sits at positive 0.34 volts. But our dilute copper, at a concentration of 0.001, sits at positive 0.25 volts. This perfectly proves rule number 2 for us. A concentration less than 1 made the potential less positive. The math and the core concept align flawlessly.
Which leaves us with a fascinating final thought to wrap up today's explainer. We have definitively proven that dropping the concentration drops the electrical potential. So, I'll leave you with this question to chew on. If a low concentration makes the potential progressively less positive, how incredibly low would that concentration need to drop to make the potential 0 and stop the reaction entirely? It's a question that pushes the logical understanding we've built today just one step further. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking great questions and keep learning.